Welcome to Mac Moments. I am Melissa Chavez, founder and CEO. This podcast is a space for honest conversations about focus, leadership, and what it really looks like to build and grow a business in real time. Each episode is a moment to slow down, think clearly, and move forward with intention. Let us get started.
We have Tanya Hendrix today with Huntsville Estate Planning Lawyers, and she's just going to talk to us about owning a business and all of the things inside with how she's built, and we're just going to get started.
Okay, wonderful.
So let's get a little background on who you are.
I am Tanya Hendrix, as you said. I've been practicing law for 24 and a half years. When I was in law school, I swore I wouldn't practice law more than 5 years, and here I am 24 and a half years later, still practicing law. But it's been a fun ride.
Yeah.
So I started out as a prosecutor. I went to law school because I wanted to help abused women and children. And so I started out as a prosecutor, put a lot of bad people away for a long period of time, and then switched over to private practice and did that for a number of years. And then in 2013, I closed my law practice to go to work for an agency that helps sex trafficking victims. I'd already been working with sex trafficking victims since 2009. And so this was kind of something I really felt passionate about, felt called to do. And so I did that. My dogs and I moved into the house, safe house with the ladies.
Oh, wow.
Lived there for 6 months. And they were a fairly new nonprofit, couldn't pay me, so I had to start practicing law again. I grew up in South Alabama, went to University of Alabama School of Law, went to University of Alabama undergraduate, got my master's degree in 2015, met the love of my life in 2016, got married in 2019, moved to Huntsville in 2017. I've been in Huntsville since 2017, and I moved to Huntsville working for divorce law firms, and then in 2021 went to work for an estate planning law firm, and then opened my own law firm in 2023. I'm also a published author.
I love this.
Yes.
So you wear a lot of hats,
I wear a whole bunch of hats.
and you've done a lot of things.
Yes.
Transitioning from just practicing law to opening your own firm, was it everything you expected?
Well, I actually had a law firm back in 2000. So I opened my own law firm in 2004 and had my own law firm until 2013 when I closed it down.
That's right.
Again, in 2013, I swore I would never open a law firm again. Because at that time, very different from now. So back then, we advertised in the yellow pages and word of mouth. That was it. That's all that we did. There were few attorneys that risk the reputation of having a billboard. Most attorneys were even doing billboards back then. So everything was word of mouth or yellow pages. So fast forward to today, and also back then, I hated doing the business side of things. I didn't know how to run a business. They don't teach you in law school how to run a business. They just teach you how to pass the bar exam. That's about it. And so, which is great. We need to pass the bar.
Yes. Kind of important.
Yeah, just a tad bit important. So when I closed down, I really didn't know about business. In 2023, when I opened my own law firm, I had the opportunity to work for some attorneys who were very good at business, very good at marketing and advertising. And I picked up some of those things from them and was able to implement those things into my law practice now and into the business now. So I learned how to market. I learned how to go out and get business. I learned how to, or not just how to, but the importance of having systems and processes in place, but also the importance of community. And I got into some communities of other estate planning attorneys across the country to learn how they manage their law firms and run their law firms. And so it was a very different experience coming in this time. And I was actually excited to open my law firm. When I opened in 2023, I'd been in the planning stages for several months. And so it was very exciting to open it up. I probably did not go into it fully wide-eyed, because once you actually start running your business, there's a lot of things that you don't realize you're going to run into. I went into it thinking, I want to set my own schedule. I'll get up late. That's not how it works. I mean, yes, you set your own schedule, but if you want to pay the bills, if you want to make money, you're working all the time.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, you think about we have a similar background. I had a business, went into corporate, gained a lot of experience, learned about SOPs, standard operating procedures. And so when I came into my business again, like you, super excited, more confident, and it's still all of these things just start flying at you like, oh, I didn't think about that, or that costs more money, and all of the things.
Yes.
So you've built this company or this brand with intention, and you have a very serious focus, helping others. You're very involved in the community. You're involved with nonprofits. What's been the most rewarding for you?
The most rewarding has really been seeing clients when that estate planning process is over, when they have signed their documents and they're walking out, and you just see a weight lifted off their shoulders because they have that peace of mind at that point. They know, I mean, we never know when something's going to happen to us. We never know when we're going to have a terrible car accident. We never know when something may happen. And so many people walk around thinking, well, what if? Once they have those documents in place, they don't have to worry about that. That's a stress off their shoulders. They know that their families, their loved ones will be taken care of and provided for. They know that their loved ones will have less conflict when they passed away, which is a huge concern for parents. And so it's seeing that weight lift off their shoulders, is the smiles on their faces, knowing that they have this done. It is done and their families are protected.
Yeah, I love that. So another thing that you do, though, is trademarks.
Yes.
She did our trademark. And our second one that we're doing now, too. Can you share with our audience why it might be of value to them for their brand?
Well, there's several reasons why. I mean, one, you want to be sure that you can use that mark, and the mark is what your trademark. So, example, MAC Global Promotions. You wanted to be sure you could use MAC Global Promotions because you had already been building your business. You already built your business before we trademarked it. So, had we started the trademark process and you had already been in business three years at that point, and then suddenly someone who had been using MAC Global Promotions for 10 years reached out like cease and desist, and you would have had to completely pivot. So all those hours, hundreds and thousands of hours, thousands of dollars building your business, you may have had to completely stop and rebrand, rename, do everything differently. And so having that trademark, the first part of having a trademark is making sure you can use that name, use that logo. So when you know that you can, you know that you will not be wasting hundreds of hours building this brand, building this business, doing marketing materials, building websites, spending all the money.
And that costs money, people.
Yes. A whole lot of money.
Yeah. And I love that with our second brand, as soon as we were launching, we've already started the process. So it's kind of protected right now because it's like in the system, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I just love that.
Yeah. And the other part is when you do have that registered mark, you can keep other people from using it because you don't want somebody to use your name in another state where maybe they don't have a great reputation and it hurts your reputation. People think they're doing business with you and they're really doing business with somebody else. So it protects your brand, it protects your reputation, protects your logo.
Yeah. I mean, we work hard for our brands.
Yes.
So you want to protect it all you can. So when you're thinking about building your company with intention, what matters most to you?
I don't know that there's one thing that matters most. I mean, it's kind of maybe in segments. So there is the one thing that matters most for clients and making sure I do the best for clients is building a business with the intention of providing the excellent service that they deserve. Kind of the white glove type service. I really want clients to feel like, number one, they're appreciated because I do appreciate them. That we do care, sincerely care about them. They're not just a client. They're not just a person walking in and walking out. But we do care about their families. We do care about making sure that we do the documents in a way that their families are protected when the time comes those documents are needed. I always say we start with people, not papers. And I'm very intentional about that. Now, we use a lot of automated systems. We use a lot of things to kind of help clients through the process. But it always comes back to the person and the people. And that is, I'm very intentional on making sure that everyone in my office really focuses on the human element, the person walking in the door. So we're very intentional about that.
Yeah.
Then there's the business side. And the business side, I'm being very intentional about really just being able to pivot. Things change so quickly, and I get great ideas, and I may implement an idea and go, oh, that didn't work out so well, so I have the ability to pivot. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional in what you're building. You have to be intentional about putting those systems in process, but also realize at some point you may have to pivot.
Yeah.
And you can't think that I'm just going to be the bull heading forward here and just knock everything down, because it may not work. And so you have to understand that's something that you may have to pivot from.
Yeah.
And so I've just been, intentional in making sure I know I don't know all the answers.
Yeah.
I don't have all the answers.
Yeah. I think as entrepreneurs, we tend to get these ideas all of the time. And one thing that I've personally done is I've picked a day of the week that I can give it the attention. Otherwise, they just keep flooding my brain, and I feel like I have to address it now. And the fact that I've given it a lot of time on a Friday afternoon, actually, and then I'll look at it, give it the attention, and say, okay, maybe we can move this forward, maybe not. But having that specific time, it's gold for me, because my brain is just all over the place.
Yeah. Time blocking actually is extremely important. I've been intentional about time blocking too, because even like with that, you're setting aside a time that this is what I'm going to focus on. Not going to meet with clients, not going to do anything else. This is my, shiny object chasing time.
And what I call it. Shiny ball syndrome.
And that is a problem with entrepreneurs. So I've been very intentional on time blocking and being able to keep things, because I can get so scattered if I'm meeting with somebody for an estate planning appointment now and then have to immediately pivot to a trademark, my brain is just going crazy. So time blocking has been very helpful in making sure I'm providing the level of service that my clients deserve, but also not pulling me in a million different directions every single second of the day.
Yeah. And, you address the white glove experience and the customer service experience. There's so much digital out there that a lot of people depend on that to grow their business. So how are you going out and meeting people? How are you getting involved with the community? What are you doing now to make that human component just part of your brand?
One of the most exciting things that we do is we give back to the community. Every quarter, we take 10% of every estate planning package fee and donate it to local charity. So each quarter we determine and decide on a charity to give back to. And so, for example, in quarter 2 of 2025, we donated over $6,000 to Sleep in Heavenly Peace, which builds beds for children in the community. So they want to make sure no child sleeps on the floor and out of town. So we were able to give them money, and $6,000, it was a little over that, but that builds beds for like 20-something kids. And so we work from our clients are able to contribute that. And what's amazing too is that when we tell clients that, and usually I would tell them when they sign the documents and they had to pay the bill, I was like, oh, by the way, 10% of that is going to this charity. And I had some clients that they're like, oh, that's so great. And then that night I got a notification from Sleep in Heavenly Peace that they had made a donation in my honor. Same amount that I was donating from their estate planning fee.
Oh, that gave me chills.
Yeah, so it's amazing. And I've had others that, even though I had already done their estate planning documents, they still turned around and donated to these organizations. And so we've been able to really help some organizations. We've had Sleep in Heavenly Peace, Greater Huntsville Humane Society. We are as we're recording this right now, we are preparing to give to City of Huntsville's Green Team, because they are planting trees to honor fallen soldiers.
Oh.
And so this actually came about as a joke, because we always talk about estate planning is all still papers. We still have a ton of paperwork, and hundreds of pages for every estate planning signing. And we always joke that we kill trees in order to do estate plans. And so we decided to give back and plant trees. And then we found out about this initiative by the City of Huntsville that is planting trees to honor fallen soldiers. And man, this is just a great way to help not only plant trees and help the environment, but really to honor the fallen soldiers from the various wars that we've had. And so at the end of Q1 of 2026, we will be giving a check to the City of Huntsville's Green Team to help them as they are planting trees.
I love that so much. I mean, you have nonprofits you're supporting. I know you're in the community. You're giving great service to your clients. You know, from a business perspective, that sounds like a lot of hats. And guess what? You still have to do payroll and you have to do all these other things. How do you, as a business owner, know it's time to hire somebody to maybe wear one of the hats for you?
I'm actually going through this process now. It gets to the point where I'm looking at, you have, as a business owner, you have to know your numbers. You have to follow the metrics. And you have to know what business is coming in and where things are in your pipeline. And what I have noticed, and I did a list, right now it's like 3 pages of things that I personally do in the business right now. And I went through that list and I marked the things that only I can do, like only things I as the attorney can do. And then start seeing where in that list can I delegate to somebody else? Do I have someone on staff now who I can delegate those things to? Do I need to hire someone? Am I in a financial position to hire someone? And not just am I in a financial position now, but if I hire someone that can help generate income, they can help bring in more money.
Yes.
And so it's really a matter of looking at your numbers, knowing where your bottleneck is. Because I know right now I'm a bottleneck.
Exactly.
And a lot of things, I'm the bottleneck. And I can help more people. I can bring in more business if I'm not the bottleneck anymore. And so there are some things I can turn over to someone. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now, this process of, yes, I think it is time to bring someone on. I don't think I have things in place right now that can really service clients the best in the quickest possible way, and that I'm not the bottleneck.
Yeah.
So I actually go through that process right now.
And it's something amazing when you are building your team, you're showing them how to operate the way you want your brand to be. And it gives you that time and you're like, wait, I feel like I need to do something. It almost gives you the sense of I'm missing something as you're growing your business. How do you navigate that? How do you put that trust into the employee that you've hired to do that? Like, what's your magic sauce? Do you have a magic sauce? Because I'd love it.
I don't know there's a magic sauce. I know that if I'm going to delegate something to someone, I've got to get it out of my brain. Mm-hmm. For example, someone on my team suggested that we have a booth at the Kite Festival this year in 2026. And I was like, what's the Kite Festival? Why would we be at the Kite Festival? And I completely doubted it. I was like, hey, you want to do it? Go for it. It is your thing to do. And I turned it over to them. I didn't have to think about it. I mean, I did show up for the Kite Festival. I did show up to the event. I helped to get things together. But all the little things about that, like we had to do a kite. I'm like, I don't even want to do that. And they brought in a kite that was made, and I was like, oh yeah, it looks great. So when I give them to somebody else, I need them to step up and do it so that I can then take that little space in my brain and do something else.
Yes.
And it doesn't, in the end, some of those little things doesn't really matter at the end. And I just have to tell myself that, like the kite, doesn't really matter. It got done. I'm fine with it. I didn't have to do it. But I mean, there's some things that I have to correct. Mm-hmm. I have to be kind of looking over their shoulder, making sure it's being done correctly. But I just have to look at what am I delegating? And in the long run, does it matter to the overall like client experience? Is it going to impact clients? Is it going to impact my law degree and my bar license?
Right.
And so those are some
You
things.
worked hard for that.
I worked very hard for that. And when it's in those categories, I do still look over shoulders and watch things. But a lot of things, like, I've got to give it to you because I've got to get it out of my head, free up my brain space for other things that only I can do.
Yeah. I think that's something that a lot of business owners are struggling with. I mean, we have a team now, and I'm so grateful for it because it is amazing that if you're scaling your business, you have to be the face of the business if you're a business owner or a salesperson in any kind of salesperson role. They're the face. They're buying from them. So it's imperative you use the resources you have in all of the things.
And you have to be intentional. I mean, we talked about intention earlier. I mean, you have to make yourself walk away from it.
Yes.
I mean, you just have to say, again, what are the things that I really have to be involved in? What are things that I have to make sure is done correctly? Focus on those things, but those other little things, like, I've given it to you to do, just do it.
Yes.
And you just have to be willing to walk away from that and trust that person to do the right job until you can't trust them again.
Yeah, you hired them, and mistakes will happen.
Yes.
We've had a few that have
We've had some
that have cost the business so much money and even clients. And, you know, I think that's one of the biggest struggles as being a business owner, because when you start, it's just you. You made the mistake, you caused the unhappy client or whatever. So how do you go about being intentional again of determining, okay, this client's no longer with us because of a situation that an employee did? How do you go about addressing it with your employee? Have you had this yet?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's cost money. It's cost money. One of the things I've learned, well, a couple of things. One, there's an ignorance tax when you're a business owner. There are things that you're ignorant about. You learn from those mistakes and you pay the tax for it. It could be out of pocket, which I've had to do. It can be just lost business, other different things. There's an ignorance tax to pay. When it comes to the employee, thankfully, on one situation, my husband talked me off the ledge because I was ready to go to the office and just fire everybody. And he was like, hold up, Tanya, take a breath, take a deep breath. And so I've had to learn to take a deep breath, remind myself they're humans. I make mistakes too. They're going to make mistakes. Show some grace. I mean, really show some grace, because they're going through things in their lives. It may impact what they're doing, may impact their work performance. And there's some things that maybe I didn't teach them. Maybe it comes back on me as a leader. You know, did they know I wanted this thing done? Did they know how to do this thing? Did I teach them how to do this thing? Did I tell them what is done look like in this situation? Did I teach them and train them on all the very specific things to make sure it's done correctly and not messed up? Have I created an environment in which they felt like they could come to me and say, I don't know how to do this thing? And so I always, when I had those situations happen, yes, I got mad. Yes, they got talked to. Yes, I scared them.
A little afraid.
Just a little, because some situations it could have affected my bar license.
Yeah.
And that's what they needed to know. Because they don't, working for a law firm, everyone in the firm has to understand that's my law license.
Yeah.
And that whatever they do can impact me. At the end of the day, I'm the boss. I'm the business owner. So even if I'm not the one who did that thing, it's still my fault. It still comes back on me. Whether it's the state bar or whether it's a client who's looking at it, it still comes back on me.
Right.
It's a reflection of me. So yes, they still got a talking to. But I also had to stop and evaluate, where's my shortfall as the leader in that group? And what could I have done better as the leader to prevent that from happening? And I think that's one of the areas that I've had to grow in, I've had to learn to do. And I think it's really helped me become a better leader in my office, because I am going to them saying, what can I do differently? What's lacking here?
Yeah.
Is there something that we need to change? Are you getting all the resources that you need? You did this. What resource do you need so that you don't do that again?
Yes, absolutely. And that's come across with us, because ultimately you're the one with egg on your face with the client.
Yes.
Or the bar association or whoever that may be. And you do have to learn from your situations. And no matter what, it won't be the last mistake made.
No.
And what we learn from it, how we grow from it, having your standard operating procedures, I think is imperative. And I'm grateful that I had that knowledge from my corporate experience, because when I first had a company many, many years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. It's crazy. But I'm successful and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, those corporate experiences, good. Some of them.
They are good. Like I said, I fortunately worked for some attorneys who had the business side of the law firm nailed down. Like, they had a well-oiled machine, and I learned that business side from that. Like, when I had my law firm to begin with, I didn't have SOPs. But when I started this law firm, before I ever hired a new person or hired any employee, I had those SOPs in place.
Yes.
Yeah, I've amended them. They've evolved over time. But I needed something in place. I needed an employee manual and some SOPs in place before I ever hired anyone. And again, they've evolved. But that's because I worked for other law firms that did it right.
Yes.
And did it correct. And so learn from those things. And then I think especially for our attorneys, we tend to look at other law firms and just see what other law firms doing, but we need to be looking outside of the legal field. What is corporate doing? How does this corporate, even though it may be a huge corporation, U.S. like world or worldwide corporation, what are they doing that we can implement here on our level?
Yeah, absolutely. But look at what's out there, especially for marketing, and that's my world. I don't think you want to copy necessarily all attorneys. Unless we get you a billboard. Can we design one for you? We have one in Ditto Landing for the Christmas, but we should put your photo on that. I'm digressing. I always like to go back to marketing, but let's see.
I'm not ruling out a billboard. That is something I've thought about.
Really?
Oh, yes.
So we need to do the photo shoot for sure. Did you schedule it yet?
Not yet.
Any other little tidbits that you can think of that, whether it's a small business or a salesperson, that you could give them as far as building their business or book a business with intention? Any other last minute tidbits?
One of the things I've been working through in my personal life as a business owner, as a wife, is having harmony in my life. And because when you're building a business, it's so easy to just spend all day, there's always something to do. There's always something to do. You can't, as a business owner, you can't leave at 5 o'clock on Friday and pick back up 8 o'clock Monday morning and have all your work done at 5 o'clock Friday. I mean, it's just not possible because there's just so much to do. And what I have had to do, and I still work, I mean, I get up at 4 o'clock in the mornings, I go to bed late, like 9 o'clock at night. But what I've implemented over the last few months as I've navigated making sure I don't sacrifice my marriage on the altar of my business is to implement some drop dead times, making sure I stop at 7 o'clock at night, no more work. There are exceptions because I do have projects happening and things that's, a few deadlines, but just making sure that I'm intentional in spending time with my spouse.
Yeah.
And now I've also had to be intentional in health and doing, working. I'm going to work out in the mornings.
It's so great.
I like working out. I enjoy working. I get to work out. Those are my mantras in the mornings. But just making sure I'm focusing on some self-care things, making sure I'm focusing on relationships, because it is easy to get sucked into the business and do business only and all day, every day. And one of the things that I've also that's been very helpful is to have the conversations with my spouse on where are we? With me working these long hours, how is it? Are we okay? And just getting very clear in that aspect.
Absolutely.
Because there has to be. I mean, I have one idea and I'm worried about this thing happening, and he's like, no, my stuff's fine. So just having those conversations and having some clarity over business goals, over the work hours, spending time as family, and nurturing those relationships, it's just extremely important to. I don't like the term balance, but I think finding some margin, finding that harmony.
Yeah, harmony is a great word.
Yeah, I think that harmony, because you want to be in tune.
Absolutely. Yeah. And being single, it's been my world. But I want to say about a year ago, I intentionally turned my phone on Do Not Disturb every day at 7 because people were texting me at 10 o'clock at night about a pen order. And I'm like, I can't do anything right now just because you have the time for it. And I'm not going to go open my laptop and look at the proof right now. It's been a good balance for me there, but I still struggle with that because it's my world. But I am looking forward to making those other habits happen. And I love networking. So that's really kind of my outlet, is just networking with all the people, being my extroverted self. But anyway.
See, I'm introverted and that exhausts me.
I do
it.
I know. And you wouldn't know when you're out in the community. You can't tell.
Good.
You handle it well, so you can just go, go home and crash out at that time. Like
Pretty much, yes.
Zen
That's
out.
what it is.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you here today.
thank you for
Thank you
having
so much for joining in. And
Thank you for spending this moment with me. If today's conversation resonated, I invite you to follow Mac Moments on your podcast platform so you do not miss future episodes. Growth does not happen all at once. It happens moment by moment. I appreciate you being here, and I look forward to our next conversation.